Phillips here today?
He is not. I don't know if he's on vacation.
Okay.
Or maybe he's here, I don't know.
Right. Who's sitting in this place?
Maybe above, I guess.
We don't have any closed session matter tonight, Joel. I guess you could just stick direct in
Where you want to stick him?
there. After the health department matters, if it's more than slide it in.
Okay, after. Clear. Okay. Hey, Mr. Daniels, how you doing, man? Who's Mr. James Garner?
Good evening. We'll call our meeting to order. And we'll pause for a moment of silence. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you have the agenda in front of you. Could we get approval of the agenda?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the agenda with the addition of an item. The item would be the Economic Development website, and I would like to add that under Health Department Matters, making that item 14, Economic Development website. And succinctly, item 15 would be Finance Department Matters, and 15 County Manager Board comments.
Okay,
16 adjourn.
all right. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion is carried. Agenda is adopted. Now have a conflict of interest statements.
Mr. Chairman, in accordance with the rules of procedures adopted by this board in section 153A-44 of the North Carolina General Statutes, it is the duty of every board member present to vote on all matters coming before this board, unless there is a conflict of interest as determined by the board or by law. Does any member of the board have a conflict of interest with respect to any agenda item coming before this board today? If so, please identify the conflict and the board will consider the matter.
No conflict. Brown-Axe Taylor.
No conflict.
No conflict.
No conflict. Okay, the next item is Board of Equalization and Review.
Need to recess this and convene with the.
Oh, okay. We'll recess the regular meeting to go into the Board of Equalization and Review.
Good evening.
Before we reconvene Board of Equalization and Review. First item on the agenda, the second item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the last meeting, May 5th, 2025. So should be included in your packet.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the minutes from the Board of Equalization and Review.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in
Testing.
favor of approving the minutes, signify by saying aye.
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 I, Broadnax Taylor.
All opposed? Okay, motion is carried.
Okay, at this time, I would like to make a call for any unresolved appeals to be presented before the board today. Please be reminded that the burden of proof is on the taxpayer. Also be reminded that no decision will be made today. You will present, the board will review, and we will get back with you with the update. Any appeals at this time? Okay, Mr. Norman? We have Mr. Norman who will be presenting.
Okay.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm appealing the assigned property tax value for one of my vehicles at this time. Last year, the car was assessed at $27,048. The car's a year older now with more miles on it, and now the new assessment for this year is $40,860, a relatively significant increase. The car has been involved in
Could you identify yourself?
Greg Norman,
Greg Norman,
257
okay.
Pinewood Acres Road.
Okay. All right. Okay, go ahead and continue.
So somehow the state has seen fit to raise the assessed value by over $14,000 in 1 year. And I submitted, when I filed my appeal for these taxes, I submitted documentation that I paid for a Carfax report, which shows the exact mileage, the complete history of the vehicle, the fact that the car has been in 2 motor vehicle accidents prior to my ownership. And the retail value on the car, according to Carfax, is listed at, I believe it was $26,000. So, my appeal is that the car not be assessed at $40,860 and be reduced to in line with what it was last year or what the Carfax report says. And I also submitted other documentation from Kelly Blue Book, from NADA, from Edmunds.com, and all of them have the vehicle listed in the between $21,000 and $28,000 range. And from my understanding, the state of North Carolina, I don't know where they come up with their assessments, but it seems like every vehicle in a certain class, like let's say a Chevrolet Camaro, they're all valued the same, like a 2016 Camaro.
Mr. Chair.
Regardless
may I-
of
may I
condition.
apologize for interrupting.
Sure.
I think the purpose, and correct me, Ms. Mason, if I'm incorrect, the deadline tonight is just to receive the appeal. We're not hearing the appeal tonight. Am I
No, that's not what I
correct?
was led to believe.
Are we actually hearing his appeal tonight? And making a decision on it? Okay, I
Just hear it.
apologize.
Okay, all right.
apologize.
Sorry, go ahead. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so in my research, I kind of found out that the way whoever comes up with these valuations, they just look at whatever model car it is with that year, pretty much regardless of mileage, and they assign it a base value regardless of the condition, the mileage, the history of the car. So my car, all 2016 Corvettes that I have, the 2LT, all of them are valued at $40,860, regardless of condition or mileage, which to me is ridiculous. I mean, not every car is the same, in the state or across the country. So there should be some, adjustment for mileage, condition, and the vehicle's history of ownership, as well as accidents. So I'm requesting that the value of the car be reduced to what it was last year or lower. I think last year was $27,048. I'd like it to be that or lower going forward. And I already submitted the paperwork to the county as far as the Carfax sheets and all the other assessments that I had done. All right, thank you.
Thank you, and we'll take that under consideration.
Are there any other appeals at this time? Board, I just want you to know that I'll get that information to you all, the state information where we got our values from, okay?
Okay, thank you.
If there aren't any other appeals at this time, we will adjourn this meeting. for the 2025 tax year. 2025 fiscal tax year, actually.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion's carried. Meeting is adjourned. We will re-enter our regular commissioners' meeting. It's now time for citizen comments.
All right, citizens, if you've signed up, when your name is called, please approach the podium. You'll have 5 minutes to make your comments. The chair will cut off all speakers exceeding their allotted time. If you have any questions of the board, you will receive a response from the board or county staff. The board will not respond or otherwise engage in a dialogue with you during your allotted time. Under North Carolina law, this time is allotted for the purpose of allowing public commentary on county business. This time is not an open forum to be publicly critical of the performance of any county commissioner or county employee, and the chair will maintain the order and decorum of the meeting. Alfred Koshipi.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Members of the board, at tab 11 of the board book that was attached to the notice to the citizens from Dr. Gatling, I wanted to talk about the proposed Northampton County Solar Farm Development Ordinance. My discussion is in conjunction with Ms. Sylvia Vincent from the Gaston area and Ms. Debbie Davis from Seaboard. But I want to just touch on the different aspects of it, and I'll just call out the page numbers. On page 3, the purpose is listed, which is good. It discusses protection of health, safety, and welfare, avoiding adverse impacts to important areas such as agricultural lands, bolster local economic development, and job creation. On page 4, there's discussion of permits required. My question is, what are the proposed permit fees for these solar farms in the 3 different levels? Are these fees based upon the level or size of the solar farm? And the proposed ordinance uses language that says the solar energy system, SES. And the length of the leases, is that going to be factored in? 20-year lease, 30-year lease, 40-year, or even more? On page 5, there appears to be a significant need for solar energy system inspections by the county and monitoring. We certainly can't expect them to self-report. We need inspections. Our inspection department is small, and my question is, will these owners of the developers, the solar system owners, be required to pay to the county a fee such that the county can hire additional inspectors? I did a Google search, and this is something that the county attorney or environmental attorney would have to do further research in. But I read that in North Carolina, the requirement for industry to pay for governmental inspectors depends on the specific inspection type and the applicable law. Generally, local governments can claim costs for inspections against a payment bond or seek payment from the permit holder for commercial projects. On page 11, that's the big one. That's the question of maximum density. So when you have this revised solar ordinance before you, you make that decision. Are you going to base the maximum density on the total county-wide acreage, which is listed in the ordinance as 344,803 acres, or on the total agricultural/wooded acreage, which is 172,170? And just as importantly, what would be the allowed percentage? If it's the recommended 5% on the agricultural wooded land, then we've almost hit that ceiling or that limit. But if it's going to be countywide, then it'll be more. Well, what will be the percentage? Because the percentage can be adjusted. But we're arguing not to let Northampton County be saturated with these solar farms. And as I talk to folks, they're everywhere. People, and they're places where I didn't even know. People saying, well, here's another farm. If you travel down that new highway between Garrisburg and Jackson, you see one off to the right. I didn't even know that was back there. But that's going to be the big one. What maximum density level do you set? And back to the beginning, remember, protection of health, safety, and welfare, avoiding adverse impacts in important areas such as agricultural lands, bolster local economic development and job creation. Agriculture is our main industry or business here in Northampton County. Appendix E, construction waste management plan, a fine of $100 per day for these multi-million-dollar corporations is too small. Also, what does placement of a lien accomplish if the fines are not paid and the land is leased? So is that going to be on the landowner? What's a lien going to do? Should violations of the construction waste management plan be incorporated into the decommission requirements on page 12 and made enforceable through the performance guarantees on page 13? On Appendix F, there's a community benefits agreement. Says an economic development community benefits committee will consist of the economic development director, county manager, county commissioner, the planning board, and the county attorney. That's five county officials. I would just ask that you consider including 2 lay citizens. Let's get the people involved. Have them on that committee because it's going to affect them. Will the community benefits agreement be signed by the solar farm developers? If so, how will it be enforced? Should the length of the lease agreement, if the land is leased, be considered in crafting the community benefits agreement? What do we get from the solar farms? I'm told that these developers receive an 80% county tax credit. Is that feasible and fair to the county and the citizen? Should that tax credit be reduced significantly or eliminated? We're not seeing any substantial county employment. Yes, sir. Thank you. And I'm going to provide a copy of this to the clerk so that she can attach that to my request. Thank you very much.
I would love that.
Yes, sir.
Also, just for your information, we don't give them that tax break. That's mandated by the state. I wish we could change that.
And that's all, and I don't know all the answers. I'm just pointing out things that I wish that would be considered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Earl Daniels?
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I've said this to you in private before, and I'll say it to the board. I come up here a lot of times, and I don't conjure my stuff up. It is brought to me by citizens, so I'm responding a lot of times to what citizens have asked me to bring up. I also thank you for cutting my time short last time, or terminating my speaking, because it gave me more time to do more research. But it also revealed, unfortunately, that sometimes the interest in what matters to the citizens are not addressed. I know the current protocol disallows questions from the public to the commissioners and the county staff. However, I do not recall any questions to a contractor being disallowed. Accordingly, I have a few questions of clarification of local government matter that I would like to ask the county attorney. First, I would say that the contract, you're aware of the contract for the county manager was voted on and approved in open session on March the 7th, 2022, with all voting yes. Question number 1 from Mr. McKellar. By virtue of the fact the board approved the contract, is it not true if the contract was to be substantially altered or amended in any manner, those changes must be voted on by the board? In the case I'm referring to, a provision being deleted, being the residency provision, and replaced by a new provision being a 50-mile radius provision, and the alteration of a provision, which was the use of the county vehicle. Again, would those changes have to be voted on by the board? I'd like, if the county attorney could answer that, I'd like to know for clarification purposes.
Do you want me to respond to him?
Go ahead.
Sir, I didn't have advance notice of your questions. I'll be happy to respond in writing.
Well, I'll continue.
I haven't been given advance notice of anything. So I'm
Well, I
not
would
prepared to
think- I would-
respond. I'm not prepared to respond on behalf of the county to your questions tonight. I will do so in writing
Well,
at a
most
subsequent
attorneys
date.
could respond, Mr. McKellar. I'll go to the next one, which is very simple too. While I could not locate a copy of the amendment, one allegedly dated October 2022, which addressed the manager's residence, is referred to in Amendment 2. I don't believe you had a copy of one, at least you didn't provide it when requested. Amendment 2 addresses the county automobile. In my extensive review of the minutes of October 2022 and September 2024, I can find no evidence the two amendments were voted on in open session, as was the contract. Another question. In your role as county attorney and acting secretary to the board, do you recall these two amendments being brought to the board in open session for a vote? Question 3. In the absence of any evidence of your recollection of a formal vote of these two amendments, can we conclude that the amendments are not valid? If they were not approved like the contract was approved, it would appear the amendments would not be valid. Final question. In view of the fact the original contract was never legally changed, the manager knew the board had not voted to change the terms of his contract, and the manager has been in violation of the terms of his contract for at least 3 years. Do the violations presented here make paragraph 3, which is the termination and the severance pay of the contract, null and void? I would think the entire contract would be null and void if it's not been complied with. Mr. Chairman, it's my conclusion as a former manager and citizen of this county that if a manager will intentionally violate the terms of his employment contract, knowingly attempt to change the terms of the contract without the knowledge of the board, that he's untrustworthy to hold the position of county manager. My attorney advises that while either violation of a written contract or grounds for dismissal, there is a distinction between the two. In the first, the resident issue relates to trustworthiness and personal
20
integrity.
seconds.
I would like to finish, sir, which would concern the board, but it did not cost the county taxpayer any money. The question to the board needs to address: does the non-compliance represent the character you want of a manager? You must decide. And lastly, the second question, the misuse of the county automobile without written consent by the board, which did cost the county taxpayer money, can be construed as fraud. Without written authority, the manager is liable for any cost incurred in the use of his automobile. The warranted disciplinary actions by the board. And I understand you calling time, but this is something the county is interested in. It is a concern. And for you to sit there and ignore it,
But your time is up.
for you to ignore it is serious, I think.
It's not being ignored.
Alan Tashima.
Well, I'm going to surprise everybody today. I'm not going to do any commentation of things that have happened. Basically, I want to give some kudos, and the kudos goes out to the Northampton County Public Works based upon the microburst or small tornado that went through my subdivision on the afternoon of 16 May, Friday, at about 4:30 p.m. I see some faces over there that you didn't know it went through it, okay? We've had a lot of damage, trees have gone down, and what had happened was one of the trees hit the water line. We called Northampton County Power Works, they came out and cut it off. We also had a problem with the electrical. 5 electric poles were snapped. We had a transformer sitting in the middle of the road that was arcing. And then we had another transformer in somebody else's property and another transformer in a tree. Duke Power came out, they shut it off. Well, by shutting off the water and the electrical, that affected 75 homes in our subdivision, okay? If you think about it, no power, no septic, no water, no toilets. We did try to get them back on again. Okay, Duke Power had to bring out a hazmat team to pick up the transformer because it was leaking on the road. And so we had a lot of damage. Right now, we've got homes with blue tarps over the roofs. We have one homeowner that took a hit by a tree in her master bedroom and also in another bedroom. We've got some that took hits in garages, the back end of the homes, their docks and things like that. So at least I want to say that Duke Power was very responsive. They came out and they subcontracted everything. And the next day, Saturday, it was like a little construction area all over our neighborhood, bringing in cranes, excavators, tree removal people, and they've been doing that for the last couple of weeks. Just recently, we had another problem because one of the trees they had to pull out, the excavator ripped up the water line. So the county came out, shut off the water for a couple hours while they repaired that. So at least I wanted to just give that. And so right now, I'm guesstimating that our little subdivision is going to be in a neighborhood of about $1 million plus in damages. And the big thing that I will say is that the only people we saw was Public Works. Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are all the citizen comments I have.
Next item on the agenda is the North Carolina DMVA Grant Program for County Veterans.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As you know, I'm your Veteran Service Officer for the county. On a very short fuse, we had a grant that we could apply for. We applied for it on March 3rd. We got word of it in middle May that we had been approved, and we have to expend the funds before the 31st of July or they take them back. There's some very specific parameters about it. Most keen on that is that it's funding that cannot be used to supplant the current budget. It can supplement it, but it's not something that can be used in place of. You could request as a county VSO up to 20,000. Seldom being called an underachiever, I decided to go for 20,000, and we were awarded $18,288.98. So we're outlining things to do that will benefit veterans, and all of the funds have to go directly toward the benefit to the veterans of the county. And then we have to report on it. The funds will end on the 31st of July, and we have to report on it on the 1st of August. And I was told to come before you and present that to you. I guess it has to be voted on, and then the chairman of the board has to have a notarized signature on one of the forms to get the final submission for the grant management, and then they will issue the funds. They're hoping to issue the funds within the next week or two.
Okay, so since this has got such a short time frame, do we need to act on this tonight in order to, that's what I would think. You need as much time as you can get to.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
My question to you is, how many veterans do we serve now? Does your program serve now in Northampton County?
Well, our best estimate right now is about 1,500 to 1,600 residents in the county are veterans. So I guess that puts us at close to 10% of the population.
10%. How are you doing with the homelessness situation in Northampton County that our veterans are dealing with?
The VA doesn't have a current program that's just a blanket program to handle homeless veterans. That's something that's being pushed through several levels. We use a lot of third-party elements to help whenever they're homeless and bring in these volunteer organizations to try to help. I have spoken here before that it is an issue in the county, and I have exchanged some communications with the economic development head about supporting a program to try to find some relief for those few that we do have who are homeless.
My last question, do you have any idea what you're going to use those grant funds for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And?
You share that.
And?
It's, once you start parsing it out to some of the equipment, we're going to purchase some updated new printers and going to try to enhance a little bit the VSO office, which has been enhanced recently because we got to move out of the utility closet I was in and into the old finance office at the old building. So that was a welcome relief. But there's some training in there and travel to training and stuff like that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
I'll be by to talk to you.
You were thinking I was gonna say I was gonna buy more chrome for my Harley with it or something?
No. I'd like to, I was thinking, because you got certain things within your grant that you can do, because I read over that grant last night.
Yeah, very specific.
And I was thinking about you could do some conferences to make people more aware of how valuable veterans are.
Right.
And how valuable they are in this county. Because I don't think people know how valuable they really are. And I'd like to see them celebrated more in this county.
Okay.
Okay.
We can definitely connect here in the coming week.
Okay?
We've got the Veterans Advisory Council coming up, next meeting coming up a week from tomorrow. Is that right, Stanley? Next week? Yeah. And we'll discuss some matters there, see what kind of ideas come out of there too.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
All right. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could I have a motion to approve acceptance of this grant?
I move to accept the grant.
Second?
Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ron X. Taylor?
All opposed? Okay, none. Motion is carried. Okay, we next have the ABC Board reappointment of 2 people, Iris Williams and Philip Ray. Yes.
One gonna hold it down or one? Okay. We have before us Iris F. Williams and Philip Ray, oath of office, ABC Board appointment for Northampton County. We're going to begin with Iris F. Williams. Could you please stand? Raise your right hand. Place your left hand on the Bible. And fill in the blank, okay? I,
Iris F. Williams,
do solemnly and sincerely swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, so help me God. I
Iris F. Williams,
do solemnly and sincerely swear or affirm that I will be faithful to and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, and that I will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God. I
Iris F. Williams,
do swear or affirm that I will well and truly execute the duties of the office as a member of the Northampton County Alcoholic Beverage Control ABC Board according to the best of my skills and ability, according to law, so help me God. Thank you. Switch. Oath of office, ABC Board appointment, Northampton County for Philip Ray. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, so help me God. I do solemnly and sincerely swear or affirm that I will be faithful to and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are and may be established for the government thereof, and that I will endeavor to support, to maintain, and defend the Constitution of the said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God. I do swear or affirm that I will well and truly execute the duties of the office as a member of the Northampton County Alcoholic Beverage Control ABC Board according to the best of my skill and ability and according to the law, so help me God. Thank you. That completes the oath. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item is the Blood Connection Incorporated contract.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
So tonight I'm presenting to you, our current contract with Blood Connection for us to carry blood expires in July. So I'm presenting the new contract that has two changes, two major changes. One of them is each unit of blood, which is 500 milliliters a unit, is gone up $55 a unit. The second change is previously, throughout the years, we were doing one-year contracts. And this contract here is a 3-year contract to kind of lock these prices in for a little while, because I do expect blood to keep going up. One good thing about this is in the old contract, which was a year, 2 units of blood were running about $790 plus shipping of $125. In this new contract, there will be no shipping fees for normal deliveries. The only time we will receive shipping fees will be if we use the blood and had to order a stat order to be delivered within 24 hours. And then that delivery charge would be $125. So I'm asking you tonight to allow Northampton County, our EMS department, be able to provide blood for those patients that need it.
Okay. Do anyone have any questions? When did you say the current contract is up? July.
We've got plenty of time.
So we got time?
Yes, sir.
Voted on next meeting, okay. All right. Any questions?
No question.
Okay,
Thank you, Casey.
thank you.
Thank you,
Casey.
appreciate it.
Next item is the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, board members, Madam Clerk. I'm Iris Williams. I presently serve as the chair of the Northampton County JCPC Board. We have provided a list to the commissioners. We have a few names that need to be appointed by the board, but I believe that the clerk has provided you a list where we have changed some people because they've moved on. But we're asking you to please continue to serve Northampton County JCPC as financial consultants. And I have with me Mr. David Nunnery, who is the district area consultant from JCPC. And I just want to acknowledge tonight that we have passed our audit with JCPC and we are in compliance with the state of North Carolina. And David is here if you have any questions of either one of us.
Okay, this list, are the ones that have check marks beside them the only ones that need approval, or is the whole list?
The entire list needs to be approved by the board,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
All right. Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
Chairman Martin, I see my name on this list.
It's supposed to be mine.
So whose name is that supposed
Yeah,
to
I
be?
thought,
Be mine.
That's supposed to be Keedra's.
Okay.
Could you make that correction before we vote on it next time? Anyone else have any questions? If not, thank you, and we will vote on this at the next regular meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Should I get you another copy with that name change?
Yes, if you would, please.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, thank you. Next is the solar draft ordinance.
Good evening, Jason McAllister with the zoning department.
Good evening.
The planning board has been working on a new solar ordinance for the last couple of months because the existing one is going to expire on June 30th. The final draft has been submitted and approval is waiting for you guys. Do you have questions about, have you had a chance to take a look at it? I do think this has to go to a open comment section for the, and it is a little bit time sensitive, would expire on June 30th.
Have you got a list of the questions Judge Quashipi had?
So I do know some of them that he talked about. A lot of his questions are actually things that we don't have control over. They're in reference from DEQ. So all those appendices are through DEQ, so we don't really have any guidelines on changing that. The planning board did submit a 5% density maximum of the agricultural and wooded land, which would bring total to allow 8,608 acres of solar.
Jason, at the meeting, Commissioner Von Exel and I had the pleasure of attending, and we thank the Planning and Zoning Committee for meeting. Could you just highlight some of the things that were mentioned at that last meeting? And just like you just did with the wooded land and the percentage of land that was utilized, just a quick overview before we proceed.
Yes, sir. So the most common complaint we have been getting is how the material is recycled. There is a ordinance in here that 50% of all cleared land has to be recycled, whether that goes to lumber sale, chipped, hauled away, or whatever. The big complaint is the burn. We have a current burn policy in place to the fire marshal's office. I feel like that should be better addressed in that ordinance as a whole for the county, because it's not just in solar where that's the issue. That and the density are the two biggest things they had issue about. If you look at what's permitted, we're actually already over that allotted amount of 5%. We're at 8,627 acres. And that also is 25 different locations and 68 different parcels across the county.
So that would not allow any new unless somebody else is
That is correct.
closed out and reclaimed.
And that's what's permitted. There's still roughly a 3,000 acre farm currently in construction. So that would be pretty much the end of it.
Right, I understand. You can't
If adopted
stop
by the
them.
county.
Already permitted.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And the citizens have been really vocal about their concerns.
Absolutely.
Anyone else have any questions?
No, sir.
I just have one comment. It's not really about this so much as it's, I think some of the buffer zones on some of the existing ones, I noticed a lot of dead trees where they didn't take off. We need to stay on top of them about it.
And that was one of the requirements with the setbacks. They did want to increase the frontage setbacks to 300 feet, whether they're not right up against the road or the house. There is an ordinance about maintaining the vegetation and making sure they are being operated and in commission. But like I said, we are a very small department and we are trying to figure out a way to circumvent that because we can't take the utility word for it.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Well, thank you for your presentation. All right, next we have the Public Works Billing Software. Is Becky here to present that?
Board, thank you so much for allowing me to be on the Zoom to present this. As I apparently have flu something going on. But thank you for letting me present this way. This is our, as you're aware, our April and May billing. The company we were using, our bills did not go out. We were using a company called Professional Mailing Services Incorporated, PMSI, as was almost everyone else in the state of North Carolina. We all had the same issue with mailings not being mailed. We were fortunate in that we were not in a lengthy contract with them. We were a pay-as-you-go vendor with them. So we did not lose, we didn't lose any money for contractual services. So we began to search for new companies, and there's not a whole lot, but there are some companies that undergo this type of mailing service that we need in the county. And this one that I'm requesting an approval for is RevSpring. They were willing to work with us in a pinch to get our bills out the last couple of months, and were able to do that without having the benefit of a contract. And they were able to work with us with the software we had, with everything as it was laid out, and made it fairly seamless to go from one company to another. So I'm respectfully requesting consideration of a one-year contract with this company, RevSpring. This will increase our budget for Public Works. All of the companies that we contracted, there's a significant increase, and perhaps that's why PMSI went out of business. I don't know. But there will be an increase of about $13,000 a year. It's a little over $1,000 a month. We're currently paying about $480 is what we were paying PMSI. So this increase it's fairly standard with all of the companies, but this company was willing to help us kind of in a pinch, and without a contract, they were willing to do our mailings. So of course we will liquidate our PO with that we had with PMSI, and that will assist with this year. But for next year, we will need an increase in that line item. I do believe that it can be funded with no issue. And so just presenting for your consideration a one-year contract with this company for billing mail, our monthly mail.
Does anybody have any questions?
Ms. Turner, when would RevSpring's contract begin? I'm looking through the document if this is approved.
It would begin the end of this month, with the June billing cycle.
And looking at the increase in cost, you said it's about, what, 13,000?
Yes, it's a little right at $1,000 a month, but it's a little over $1,000 a month.
would that cost be affected from water bills that citizens have to pay as well?
I do not believe that the citizens will see an increase due to this billing issue.
Thank you, Ms. Turner.
Anyone else have any questions for Ms. Turner? All right. Thank you, and we'll address this at the next meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, next we have Health Department matters.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I come before you tonight for approval of our 25-26 Northampton County Health Department rates. Each year, our billing committee researches and analyzes current health department rates and compares them to our Medicaid rates, surrounding health department rates, and our health department costs. And we take all of that together, and then we go through and either update our rates or leave some as is. After reviewing, some rates were updated while others remain the same. Our billing committee met on May the 5th, and these rates were submitted and approved by the Board of Health on May the 13th. And some discontinued CPT codes were removed and some replacements were added. And you have the rates for our clinical and lab rates attached in your packet.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Vick? If not, thank you for your presentation.
So the next one I have both of them together. I have to do both of them
Okay.
separate approval. So that was for our clinical and our lab rates, and the second one I have is for our 25-26 Northampton County environmental health rates. You will notice that there were no rates were changed from our current year, but we do have to have separate approval, and these were also discussed during our May the 5th billing committee meeting, and they were reviewed and approved by the Board of Health on May 13th.
Okay, so no change in any of those then?
No changes to these, correct?
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next is Economic Development website.
Good evening. The clerk is going to present you with a proposal from Wildfire for you to review. The Department of Economic Development does not have its independent website to create some type of platform visibility for industry or citizens or whomever it may be. We have reached out to several companies to develop a website and have selected Wildfire proposals to draft a website for the department. The total cost is $17,500, which we have in our current budget. So I'm not asking the board to allocate additional funds. We do have the amount budgeted for this scope of work here. There will be a separate service contract that will come to you at a later date, which will include a $115 monthly fee, which will be for website hosting and audio pass-through expenses. These are just normal monthly expenses for maintaining the website. So County attorney has reviewed the contract, so has my department as well, and we're presenting this to you for approval at the next board meeting.
Okay.
Any questions? You may have some at the next meetings to give you time to
maybe at
review it,
the,
but
since we
just
haven't
wanted to
seen
give
this
you a
before.
summary that this is the development of an economic development website.
I think that is something that would be worthwhile.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Puts us on the map.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Bennett?
Mr. Bennett, that figure again was how much?
Page 9, $17,500.
And that's just a one-time cost?
Yes, ma'am. And the monthly service fee, in case you need it, is $115 per month. No other questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. So next, we have financial matters, tax department. Okay.
Good evening again. I'm before you on behalf of our taxpayers with 3 presentations. The first one is to obtain the board's approval for one ad valorem appeal in the amount of $1,184.78. The other is for 7 motor vehicles appeals in the amount of $401.75. Also included are 4 resolutions authorizing upset bid procedures for sale of property owned by Northampton County. And all of that information is included in your book.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Mason? If not,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Okay, do you have anything, Leslie? Okay. All right, well, county manager comments? Is he online or? If not, we'll move on to the board comments. I'll start with, to my far left, Mr. Rawnex Taylor.
Surprisingly, I don't have any comments. Just like to thank everyone for coming tonight.
Keidra?
Okay. I'd like to say good evening to everyone. I know a couple of meetings ago I was out due to not feeling well, but I'm thankful that I'm feeling a lot better now. And I would like to share that during this time of the year, sometimes as meetings coincide with each other, when I'm not present, it's due to work obligations, because similar to what staff do in your board presentations here, it's similar to what I have to do in my role where I work in a neighboring school system. And so just know that when I'm not here physically, it is beyond my control. I did want to share that we had the open house for the Creasy Storm Shelter on this past Friday. It was a really, really good event. Super excited for the community and for the citizens in that area that they will have a space in place any event that severe weather occurs, and, you know, families need to have somewhere to go to that has a generator and things of that sort. I was invited to be the guest speaker, and so I was indeed honored to do that, and very thankful for that opportunity, and just happy to see the work that's being done in that community. Also, I participated at Parker's Chapels on Wednesday not too long ago with the choir that I played piano for, and so I enjoyed that worship experience as well. It's very important as servant leaders to be out in our communities in whatever platform. And I also want to also highlight Chapel Hill Baptist Church, in which I was invited to give commissioners greetings on yesterday for their deacon, deaconess, and trustee program. And so, again, just want to say thank you, citizens, for coming. Thank you for all that you do, and I hope that everyone have a wonderful evening.
Keith?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It means a lot that we do have concerned citizens. And it's very interesting to hear the concerns that our citizens have. We need to know. Thank you for participating. Thank you for calling me or any commissioner. We need to know so we can do our best to make this our best place to live. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Vice Chairman?
Thank everybody for coming out tonight, and thank you for the concerns and calls that you give. Your concerns are important, and we do address them. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I also like to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and drive safe on your way home, and we do listen to your concerns. Sometimes it takes time to address them. Sometimes they can't be addressed, but we do listen to them. And thank y'all for coming out. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Second.
All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 I, Broadnex Taylor.
All right. All opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
All right now. Can't believe it's light time. It's light.
Next week, that meeting.
Sure. Thank you for this.
Yeah.